Okay, hello everybody. This is Lama Caroline. I'm here in Gangchen Rinpoche in Malaga, Spain. Okay, and we're going to continue with the explanation of the NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing practice. Okay, so first we're going to do some prayers, and then we'll talk more about Rinpoche past lives, and all kinds of beautiful things about self-healing. Okay, but first let's do some prayers. Yes, some preliminary prayers. Okay. Namo Guru Pye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru Pye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Guru Pye, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Triratnaya, Sangye Chudan Sogi Chonamla, Janchu Badu Dani Kyasuchi, Dagi Jinso Ki Pesonanki, Drola Penchi Sangye Drupasho, Sangye Chudan Sogi Chonamla, Janchu Badu Dani Kyasuchi, Dagi Jinso Ki Pesonanki, Drola Penchi Sangye Drupasho. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we take refuge until enlightenment. Through the practice of generosity and the other perfections, may we become Buddhas for the benefit of all sentient beings. Samchen Tamche Dewa Dan Dewe Gyudan Dempa Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Dunyel Dan Dunyel Gi Gyudan Drawa Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Dunyel Mepe Dewa Dami Drawa Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Nyerin Jadahani Dan Trawe Tamnyon La Nepa Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Lusen Gidunele Soshin Trayun Lusen Dewadan Dempa Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Nalso Topchin China No Chukoyu Danshin Samane Gyuji. Samchen Tamche Danzan Bulingi Kedo Dadan Jinagi Shide Dan Dukun Dempa Gyuji. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings never be separated from the great happiness that is beyond all misery. May all beings dwell in equanimity, unaffected by attraction to dear ones and aversion to others. May all beings recover from the sicknesses of mind and body pollution and enjoy relative and absolute health now and forever. May all beings relax in a pure and healthy outer and inner environment now and forever. May all beings enjoy inner and world peace now and forever. So let's send all those good wishes across the world, okay? Tamche duni sashida semala sohome padan la tiltanya bedurye ranshin jampuhone gyuji la dami chupeze no susham dahani kitru kunsan chutre laname nanka kangun kyab gyuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Benza Sawa Pramadani Tathagataya Ahate Samya Sambuddhaya Tayata Om Benze Benze Maha Benze Mahatetra benze, Mahavidya benze, Mahabodhicitta benze, Mahabodhi mandropa, Samkramana benze, Sawakama awarana, Vishuddhana benze soha. Koncho sungi dempadam, Sangedan janchu sempa, Tanju gi aladan, So niyo so penadan chempodan, Chuki nampada chi sangi, Mikyape togi deshi nidugyuchi. Okay, invocation of Rinpoche and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Malusem chen kungi gungyu chin, du de punje hemize jom zela, no namalu yanda kengyu pe, chom den koche hene di so. 7-limb prayer. Go sungu pe go ne chaselo, no sham yitro hochu pa malupo, Top menesa ditun tam chesha, Kyepa gye wahanam la jiran, Kowa mato badule june, Trola chuki kolo kowada, Dashen jena janchu chempo no. Short mandala. Sajiperki Joshi Metotram Rirali Jini de Gyampadi Sangeshin to Mite Boai Drukonanda Hashila Chupasho Idam Guru Ratnamandala Kam Niryatayami. Request to the Ganda Ningu lineage gurus, including Kyabje Trijang Dorjicha, Losankya Wakungi Esheni, Tritu Dri Mehegyal Tenzin Pezo, Rabdan Kyoko Gyaso Trudun Kun, Trinchen La Mehesha Blaso Wate, Om A Guru Vajra Dara Sumati Gyana Sasana Dara Samudra Sipatra Sawasiti Om A Guru Vajra Dara Sumati Gyana Sasana Dara Samudra Sribhadra Sawasiti Om A Guru Vajra Dara Sumati Gyana Shasana Dara Samudra Sribhadra Sawasiti Request to receive Lama Gangchen Rinpoche's blessings. Locho Zampo Palgyuta Shipa Tu Chen Tempe Trileyanoda Pegedro Lo Zampe Sepachen Palden La Mehesha Blaso Wade Oma Guru Madradara Suhu Mahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavahadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasiti Moma Guru Vajradhara Suhu Mahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavahadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasiti Maguru Vajradhara Suhu Mahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavahadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasiti Kyoni Lama Kyoni Yidan Kyoni Kadro Chukyonte Dene Zunte Janchu Badu Kyumin Kyase Misowe Dida Badu Chime Taya Tuche Chakyu Sunsola Shishi Drijo Nodro Kunso Tengi Drosun Bachosu Kyoni Lama Kyoni Yidan Kyoni Kadro Chukyonte Dene Zunte Janchu Badu Kyumin Kyase Misowe Dida badu chi me taya tuche chakyo zonzola. Shishi dridro nodro konso tengi dro so badyo so. You are the Guru, you are the Yidam, you are the Daka and the Dharma protector. From now until the achievement of awakening, we seek no other refuge than you. In this life, the bardo, in all our future lives, please hold us with your hook of compassion. Liberate us from the fears of samsara and nirvana. Grant us all realizations. Be our constant companion and dispel all interferences. Yeah. Detale so sawata petula me kusuhuntu ginenale. Dutsi eze kamatinga sum rindan chicha hajune daniki. Ne sum rindan chicha chimpale. Drishida shihinanda wanshito. Kushito lama nipashi. So, from Rinpoche, Gangchen Rinpoche, in front, in the rainbow form, from his crown, throat, and heart chakra come white, red, and blue lights and nectars, which dissolve into our three chakras, into our crown, throat, and heart chakras, one by one, and then together. So the negativities and obscurations related to our four chakras are healed. We receive the four empowerments and the imprints, which will ripen eventually into the four Buddha bodies, are strengthened and empowered. Yeah. Okay, then above the head of each and every one of us, wherever we are in the world, come a second Rinpoche, because now Rinpoche can be anywhere and also have multiple emanations. No? So above everybody's head comes a second small Rinpoche, which dissolves through our crown chakra, goes through our central channel, and mixes with our subtle mind at our heart. So our ordinary mind mixes with the Guru's holy mind, and our mind improves. Okay. Then Rinpoche is with us. Rinpoche is our spiritual company. We're not alone. We're not abandoned. The lineage of blessings and inspiration is with us of the NgalSo lineage of Rinpoche. Okay. Lama Guru Vajradhara Suhumahati Muni Shahasahane Kama Uttavahadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasiti Mama Guru Vajradhara Suhumahati Muni Shahasahane Kama Uttavahadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasiti Om Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum 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 Om Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum. Astrological healing practices. Tayata on gate gate paragate parasangati bodhisoha. Tayata on gate gate paragate parasangati bodhisoha. Tayata on gate gate paragate parasangati bodhisoha. On somebody samohon hon pe on grina grina hon pe. On grina pe hon pe. On one eye ho by one video as a hon pe. On somebody samohon hon pe on grina grina hon pe. On grina pe hon pe. Om Anaya Ho Bhagavan Bidaraja Hum Hum Pe Om Bhadrasava Samaya Manopalaya Bhadrasava Tanopa Tizajira Mebawa Sutuke Mebawa Supoke Mebawa Anarata Mebawa Sawasidi Mepresa Sawakama Sushime Trisham Shrim Kuru Ho Ha 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 Ho Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajrama Mema Savajabawa Maha Samaya Sapa Ahum Pe Lama Sadang Yuka Sedang Yusangi Dakpo Kien Chomden Dede Shinshepa Drachompa Yanda Zope Sange Sadang Yuka Yusangi Dapo Gyopola Chaselo Tayata Nakshatare Titi Muti Nakshastre Dunde Naye Pavendu Chaye Soha Tayata Om Nakshatre Maha Nakshatre Sawa Nakshatre Pavendu Soha Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Vagishvari Hum, Om Vajrapani Hum, Om Bhadrapani Hum, Om Ahum Ho Hankimalavariam Hum Pe, Om Pram Bishamata Hum Hum Pe, Om Ahum Ho Hankimalavariam Hum Pe, Om Pram Bishamata Hum Hum Pe, Om Ahum Ho Hankimalavariam Hum Pe, Om Pram Bishamata Hum Hum Pe, Om Akini Nikini Abilia Mandala Made Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Praso Juso Tudusu Demiso Ningulacha Kalaza Kam Shantram Bepe Soha Om Arapazana Di Hum 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 Om Yedama Hetu Prabhava Hetun Teshun Tata Gata Hyawadata Teshun Chayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahasramana Soha. All phenomena depend on causes and conditions. The Tathagata, the great ascetic wanderer, the Sramana, understood the cause of all phenomena and their cessation. Soha. 5-element purification. Yam Ram Lam Bam. Yam Ram Lam Bam. Yam Ram Lam Bam. Shude So. Shude So. Ho Shude So Ha. Yam Ho Shude So Ha. Ram Ho Shude So Ha. La Ham Ho Shude So. Ba Ham Ho Shude So. Okay, so hello everybody. Now we're going to continue with I'm giving a long explanation about the NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing practice, which was made by Lama Gangchen Rinpoche in 1993. And I was the one who, fortunately for me, I had the job to write down all his teachings, and then me and a team of friends in Kumpen Lama Gangchen in Milano, we made Rinpoche's first books, many books. So therefore I have something to say on the subject, and I remember many things about what Rinpoche was thinking and so on, So we are explaining this NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing 2, Lama Gangchen's book. We can say Self-Healing 2 somehow is the center of the NgalSo practice. So we're definitely, if we're Rinpoche followers, we should understand very well about self-healing, which is why myself and also Lama Michelle and other people were making an effort to explain the practice in detail, Okay, so we have, as Rinpoche said, a strong basis to continue our practice as we go on through the enlightenment. Rinpoche said we need to go on the enlightenment marathon, Like days and weeks and months and years need to go together as one spiritual family to enlightenment, no? So we need to know very well Rinpoche's practice, self-healing, how to do, yeah? So then we can get the most benefit out of doing it, okay? So, where did we get to so far? I'll tell you where we got to. If you have a copy, this is obviously the English edition. So exactly where we are in the book at the moment is, okay, exactly where we are in the book at the moment is page 54, yeah? Requesting the root guru's blessings, okay? So then at that point, I actually decided to explain more about Rinpoche's past lives, yeah, because I thought that was something very interesting, something we need to know, yeah, because Rinpoche is an incarnate Lama, yeah, with many, many famous incarnations, okay? And okay, now Rinpoche just passed into the clear light, into the rainbow body, but he's coming back, yeah, okay? Then will be the next one and the next one, yeah? So for a great high holy being like Rinpoche, for us it's important to understand the continuum of his activities actually through many lifetimes, yeah? So that's what I was doing, okay? And so far we talked about several of Rinpoche's past lives. Let me just see where we got to. 1 second, yeah? We actually got up to the point where Rinpoche he said that actually at that time there was two emanations. One was the great famous Mahasiddha, Drukpa Kunli, and the other one was Panchen Zampo Tashi. Yeah? So Drukpa Kunli was from the Kagyupa tradition, very famous in the Kagyu tradition. And Panchen Zampo Tashi is also very famous for us in our Galupa tradition. Anyway, I will tell you his story today. He was the second abbot of Tashi Lumpo Monastery and the heart disciple of Gaden Drup, who was the first Dalai Lama, yeah? So we all know the Dalai Lama these days, very famous, no? So Rinpoche in the 15th century was the main disciple of the Dalai Lama, okay? Anyway, so I've been thinking about this, okay? So I was saying that actually the life of Drukpa Kunli is actually half translated. So this is the half translation, okay? So you see this book here, it's called Divine Madman here, okay? So I think better if you're interested, you just get a copy yourself. I'm sure you can order it from any bookshop. It's at least this edition I've got here. It says Divine Madman, Sublime Life and Songs of Drukpa Kunli, translated by Keith Dowman. And the one I've got is from Pilgrim's Publications, yeah? Okay, anyway, you put this title and you go to any bookshop, you'll be able to, or online, you'll be able to get one, yeah? Okay. So this is actually volume 2 of the Namthar of Drukpa Kunli. The Tibetan one's bigger, no? So the first part of his life is when he was in the monastery and, followed the conventional way of study and realization. And this is the translation of part 2 when he wandered as a yogi throughout Tibet, Nepal, and Bhutan, yeah? Okay. So I've been thinking about this, and I think, seeing as it's quite a lot, no? It's a big thing, yeah? So I'm not going to sit here and read you a whole book, yeah? So I thought maybe better, if you're interested, go and buy one yourself. Also, I'm sure these days, I'm sure it's in many, many different languages, okay? Anyway, so briefly, Drukpa Kunli is the national saint of Bhutan, and he's super famous there, okay? Well, also in Tibet, yeah? Tibetan culture, yeah? So up to when he achieved his realization, he followed a very, very conventional lifestyle of study and practice and so on, yeah, okay? Then at a certain point when he'd achieved his realizations, then he left the monastery and spent the rest of his life wandering around the Himalayas as a yogi. So you can see here he's dressed as a yogi, yeah, okay? And as you can see, he's got long hair, earrings, a dog, and actually he's got a bow and arrow. I don't know, because you can see, no, as you can see, yeah, he's got no, you can't see, but anyway, he's got a bow and arrow, yeah, a dog, and yogi's robes, and he used to wander around like that through the Himalayas, doing incredible things and converting people to the Dharma by way of his miracle powers, yeah. So in this sense, actually, Rinpoche was very similar, because when he came to the out of Tibet, he said there was many, many great lamas in the world, yeah, okay, who gave incredible teachings. So for that, there was no need. But he personally, what he wanted to do was show the power of the Dharma, yeah. Okay, so of course each time is different, each culture, also each century is different, no? But Drukpa Kunli did all kinds of incredible things, and if you're interested, please buy the book, yeah. But for example, I don't know, he had all kinds of like superpowers. Like one time he came up to a fortress, yeah, okay, and they're outside in Tibet. They have these like really, really big mastiffs, like huge, really scary dogs, So no need for an alarm system because it's perfectly safe with these massive dogs that they have, yeah. So he went up near one fortress, yeah, and they set because he was a wandering yogi, yeah. They thought he was a beggar. They set the dogs on him. There's one black one and one white one, yeah. So then the dogs come to attack him, yeah. So then with his staff, yeah, he hit them, and with his yogic powers, he chopped the dogs into two, yeah. And then he clicked his fingers and he put them back, yeah. So then instead of a black one and a white one, there was a black one with a white part and a one with a white head and a black body, yeah. Okay, so he had all these kind of miracle powers which he frequently used to show, yeah, in order to convert people to the Dharma, yeah. So he was very, very famous for many kind of showing many kind of miracle powers, and also he went definitely, let's say, went beyond the convention, yeah, even according to Tibetan culture. But why? Not because the yogi is crazy. This is a misinterpretation. We are the ones who are crazy, okay? We don't see things correctly, yeah, because we have a design fault in our mental perception. Everything we see is wrong, yeah, okay? And because we see, it's like we're born with something wrong with our perceptual apparatus, yeah. So we see, here's me, there's the world, yeah, yeah. And we feel that there's a permanent me and that there's a permanent essence in everything. And if only I could have that, I'd be happy. And that person's really horrible, and I need to get rid of them, and I need to get all my friends to agree and send them away, and so on. We have like these kind of very simple minds, actually, simple but wrong minds, like very dualistic, yeah, okay. And so many things in our society, I'm sorry to say, our society means the whole world, are wrong because our whole way of perceiving reality is wrong, yeah. So what the great siddhas who understand reality do is they always played with the perception of reality and people's concepts, yeah, to help people go beyond, yeah. To kind of open their minds, basically, is what the siddhas do, yeah. So there's all kinds of incredible stories. Let me think of one. Okay. Okay, I'll just tell you one or two stories, okay? Then you can get the book yourself. Like one time, somebody brought a beautiful tanker, like a tanker, yeah, like this, yeah, to Drupal Kunli and said, "Oh, please, oh, Siddha, can you bless my tanker?" And he said, "Yes, sure, give it to me." So he put it there, and then what did he do? He started weeing on the tanker, yeah? And everybody was like obviously completely shocked, saying, "Stop, don't wee on the tanker," yeah? It's like, how could you? How awful, yeah? But then when he finished and they looked at the whole tanker was covered in gold, yeah, because of his like superpower, yeah, okay. So he did all these kind of things, many incredible things, yeah, to open people's minds, yeah, okay. Oh, let me think of another one here. There's all kinds of different stories, no? There's a whole book full of stories, no? So he wandered around, like opening people's minds and bringing many ordinary people to the Dharma here, okay? So actually, I think in that sense that our Gangchen Rinpoche was very much like Drupal Kunli, because Rinpoche's speciality was bringing people who were really on the edge of the Dharma or even off the edge of the Dharma into the Dharma path, yeah, okay? As we know, so all kinds of people, many people who were not at all Buddhist, yeah, used to come around Rinpoche and be around Rinpoche, and gradually become interested in spirituality and so on, yeah. So in that sense, I think Rinpoche's actions are very similar, okay. I mean, but obviously not in all the actions, yeah. Like for example, Drupal Kunli is famous for being, let's say, a social commentator, yeah. So he's made many like songs about sort of criticizing the social and political and religious institutions of his day. So actually our Rinpoche absolutely never did that, yeah. It was a different time, yeah, okay. Our Rinpoche was completely into like having peace and harmony, and also he said to us, he said to us, all his disciples, please do not get involved in politics. So also that means don't criticize people. That would definitely not be a good, that would be considered a political action, wouldn't it? So he requested all of us many times, don't get involved in politics, don't take one side or the other, we're in the Dharma, yeah? So Rinpoche himself was like that, was open to everybody, left or right, never criticize anybody. Whenever people criticize him, he never say anything at all, not even one word, yeah, okay? So actually in that sense, Rinpoche was different from Drupal Kunli, I must say, yeah? But anyways, so Drupal Kunli was a kind of social commentator and used to comment a lot on the behavior of the monks and the lamas and the yogis and so on. So if you read the book, you can read it yourself, yeah? Okay. So also, actually, one thing actually in this book, yeah, okay, it says in this book that he met Lama Tsongkhapa, Sakya Pandita, and the Karmapa. So actually, that's absolutely, according to when he was born, that's not possible because they all lived a century before him. Yeah. So I think some bits have actually been added because Drupa Kunli is so famous. Yeah. That sort of things have got added onto the Drupa Kunli, which clearly weren't true because he never said he had the power of time traveling back to the past, yeah, because it's the only way he could have met Sakya Pandita or Lama Tsongkhapa, yeah. But actually, I was reading this book. I'll tell you one story. So he takes, let me find it, yeah. I should have put a bookmark, yeah. Anyway, okay, I can't remember the page, but anyway. So the Drupa Kunli has a lot of tea, yeah. Tea doesn't mean like a packet of tea. In Tibet, it was like blocks of tea, okay. And it's like from China, yeah, like dry tea. And these tea blocks would be used to make the tea, okay. So either for households or for monasteries, yeah. So Drupa Kunli got all this tea and he wants to like make an offering. So where does he go? He goes to one monastery and they say, oh, we don't want your tea, okay, yeah. So he says, okay, no problem. So then actually, it says here in the story that I actually didn't know this until last week when I was looking at this book, yeah. So Rinpoche goes, Drupa Kunli goes to our monastery, Gangchen Rinpoche, yeah. And he says to our monks, our Gangchen monks, he said, I like to offer you all this tea, yeah. And they said, no, we don't want your tea. So they said, okay, fine, and leaves, yeah, okay. So then he goes to Tashi Lumpo. Our Gangchen monastery is a branch of Tashi Lumpo monastery in Shigatse in Tibet, yeah, okay. So our, let's say, direct sort of like line and lineage is the Tashi Lumpo line and lineage of the Panchen Lamas, okay. So then he takes his tea to the Tashi Lumpo. Now, many of you went with Rinpoche to Tibet now, and one of the monasteries we always visited was Tashi Lumpo, really beautiful, no? So he took this tea to the great assembly hall of Tashi Lumpo and gives the tea to the monks. Now, this time they accept, okay? And so they say, okay, we'll make some tea with we'll put it in they have like these big cauldrons in the monastery, like huge, like really enormous, because it's not like, they don't need a little kettle like we have. They've got huge cauldrons. They need to make tea for like, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 people, okay? So they get this huge cauldron, put the tea from Drupa Kunli inside, and they start to cook it, yeah? And then Drupa Kunli says, okay, but he says, wait, and he has this ball of butter, so he also puts this ball of butter inside, and he said, okay, cover it up, until I come back, don't lift off the lid, yeah, okay? So then he goes away for I don't know how long, yeah? But finally, the monks can't wait, so finally they lift it up and see how it tastes, yeah? And then Drupa Kunli says, oh, what are you doing, you should have waited, and then the tea would be even more delicious, yeah? But anyway, so the story is that because Drupa Kunli offered this tea and the butter to the Tashi Lumpo monastery, that till now, the tea in the Tashi Lumpo monasteries always had like a very, very good taste, yeah, okay? So anyway, so that's just, so that's just one story I remembered. Why? Because it mentions our monastery, Gangchen Rinpoche monastery, okay? Okay, so that means actually, yeah, that Drupa Kunli must have gone to Gangchen at the same time as Panchen Zanpo Tashi, yeah, okay? So they must have all, met each other, yeah? Anyway, fascinating, yeah? All these things, no? Okay? Anyway, so like I say, I think rather than me reading you the whole book, which, okay, already we're on, I think, session 15 or something. I can read you the whole book if you want, yeah? But I thought maybe gradually we need to carry on through Rinpoche's lives, and we have so much to do, incredible, We have to explain this one, and we have to explain this one, Self-Healing 3, and Make Peace the Environment, and the medicine book, and all kinds of things. So this is going to be a long, long thing, yeah? Okay, it's okay, we have time now. So anyway, so please get your own copy, and I'm sure you will enjoy very much, yeah? One time Rinpoche, we were in Kathmandu, yeah? Staying in Chabal, in Rinpoche's first labyrinth, and he bought this book and gave to everybody, yeah? Okay? So anyway, so read that, you'll enjoy it, yeah? Okay? Okay, so I thought what I'd talk about today is Rinpoche's other incarnation at the same time. So Rinpoche said, we were reading what Rinpoche actually said. So he said at that time he had two emanations at the same time. One was Drumpa Kunli, and the other was Panchen Zampo Tashi. Yeah? So for us, Panchen Zampo Tashi is very important. Yeah. Now I don't know if you've seen one of these before. This is what's it? This first volume of the collected works of Panchen Zampo Tashi. Yeah. So in Albaniano, gradually we're republishing. Republishing means like 500 or 600 years later. This is volume 2 of the collected works of Rinpoche in the 15th century. Okay, so this is volume 1. We've also done volume 2, and now we need to publish 3 and 4. Oh, we're so busy. Okay, anyway, so let me read you a little bit of the story of Panchen Zampo Tashi. Okay, which was Rinpoche life in the I think 15th century. Okay. Now, this thing of Rinpoche was always talking about Panchen Zampo Tashi, yeah? Because Rinpoche had a very, very strong connection with Tashi Lumpo Monastery and His Holiness the Panchen Lama. Okay. So he said this was why, because he was the abbot of Tashi Lumpo Monastery right at the beginning. He was the second abbot. Okay. Okay, so now I'm reading this, yeah. Okay, from this is collected with so many books, yeah. If you want a copy of this, NgalSo.org, our shop, yeah. Okay. Okay, so it says, okay, so Panchen Zampo Tashi, this is Rinpoche in the he was born. Born. I've got the wrong one. Sorry, 1 second. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. It says in the year 1410. Yeah. So that's 610 years ago, isn't it? 610 years ago. Yeah. Rinpoche La was born as Panchen Zampo Tashi, yeah? Okay, so he was born in a village close to Sakya in Tibet, yeah? So Sakya is this very important spiritual place, the home of the Sakya tradition, okay? Quite near Gangchen, yeah? So, from his youth, he followed many lamas, yeah? Especially Sherab Sengye is very famous in our Gelugpa tradition, yeah? And especially Gaden Drub, the first Dalai Lama, yeah? Okay, and then also some other ones, yeah? All of whom were learned and great-minded, yeah? So in many things, he was young, he was very lucky, no? Or through the lucky doesn't come into it yet. So his own karma, he had many, many important lamas, yeah? Okay? So actually, what I'm reading here is the from the Tibetan biography of Rinpoche that we had translated into English, yeah? And now actually this Tibetan biography, we are going to reprint, and exactly I don't know when, but we have this plan that we need to go around and make many offerings, yeah, in the monasteries in India, Nepal, and Tibet, well, obviously when it's possible, yeah, because this is one of the things that has to be done when there's a really high Lama like Rinpoche, to create a tendril, a positive interdependence for their swift return, for their swift and unmistaken return, yeah. So one of the things that we need to do at that time is go around and make offerings in the different important Gelugpa monasteries connected to our Ganden Ningu lineage, and also we need to distribute like this as part of what's given out. Actually, this Tibetan biography of Rinpoche in his past lives and his present life. Okay. So anyway, if you want to read it, it's in this book at the beginning. Okay, which you can get from the Albaniano online shop. Okay. Yeah. So, and if you don't want to buy any books, you can just listen to me for free, and I'll gradually read all of them for you, okay? Anyway, so it says, from these great gurus, he listened, thought about, and meditated on infinite instructions of sutra and tantra, and became greatly learned, yeah? In particular, he became a top scholar of the Rimé tradition. That means Rimé is like non-sectarian tradition. So this is actually very much like how our Rinpoche was. He was like very, very open and non-sectarian, and with great respect towards not only the Tibetan traditions, but all spiritual traditions, yeah. So one of the things that we did with him was we didn't just go to Tibetan holy places or even Buddhist holy places. We went to many holy places of all different religions. I don't know, like Christian, Hindu, Jain, many all over the world, yeah. And any place where there was positive, also pagan, you know, like Stonehenge, these Avebury, these kind of places. So any place where there was a positive spiritual energy, we would go with Rinpoche, show respect, and also request blessings for our self-healing practice. So also Rinpoche La, even though himself is practicing like our Ganden Nyingu thing, but he had incredible respect for all spiritual traditions. And also, as we know, he made the Spiritual Forum for World Peace, yeah, this initiative at the with UNESCO, yeah, which was to get the religious leaders to talk to each other about peace, about the environment, well, mainly about those two subjects, yeah, okay? Because it's so important to involve the spiritual communities in this without being political, yeah, but to get all the religious leaders together, working in a positive way for society, yeah? So Rinpoche started the Spiritual Forum in 1997, no? Until now, in Chile and in Italia and in Spain, in different countries around the world, it's still going, yeah, okay, both the national and local levels, yeah, okay. So anyway, so Rinpoche in the 15th century was a top scholar of the Rimé tradition, and he had great knowledge of the spiritual traditions of the Sakya, Gelugpa, Nyingmapa, and actually Kagyupa tradition, yeah, okay, because many of our early tantric teachings in the Gelugpa, like for example Chakra Sambhara and so on, come from the Kagyupa tradition, yeah. For example, the his Lama Tsongkhapa, who's the founder of our Gelugpa tradition, he was given his name, yeah, Logsan Drapa by the Karmapa, yeah. I think it was Karmapa Mikyo Dorji, okay, yeah. Anyway, then it says at the age of 43 years old, yeah, he became the throne holder of the monastery of Nyamno Gyaltsong, where he gave extensive teachings. At 49, he became the Umze, the chant leader of the Namring Gompa, and the philosophy master in Pel Yaga Chuzing Monastery. Okay, so this Namring Monastery, we've heard about that before. Do you remember in the story of Trupul Lotsawa? Yeah, Trupul Lotsawa, when Rinpoche was a Kagyupa in the 12th century, he was famous for three things. He brought three famous yogis to Tibet, yeah? Mitra Yogin, Buddha Sri, and Sakya Sri, no? Yeah? I think it's Sakya Sri, okay? Anyway, so one of the great actions that he and they did was build three huge Maitreya statues, yeah? And one of them was in this Namring Gompa, yeah? Yeah, so this is showing like, one thing I always found interesting about this thing of Rinpoche's past life is seeing like these connections from life to life, because Rinpoche always said, you know, it's like that's how it goes, you know, that once he promised to do something, even 500 years later, he still had a connection, he still had commitment to that group of people, that place, yeah. So here, in the 15th century, like 300 years later, he's now the Umze, the chant leader of Nyamring Gompa, yeah, okay, where he was in the 12th century, yeah. Then it says in the Iron Tiger year of 1470, that means when he's 60 years old, yeah, he founded the monastery of Gangchen Rinpoche, yeah, our Gangchen Rinpoche monastery, where he invited his guru, Gaden Drub, the chief of the victors, yeah, who led an infinite number of beings on the way to liberation and gave teachings on Sutra and Tantra to tens of thousands of monks and nuns and lay people, yeah. So this is rather like when Rinpoche used to go there, like recently, no? Tens and thousands of people, literally, in making lines, crossing over to the next mountain, used to go there and like camp and then wait to see Rinpoche, and they used to line up, and they literally, the line went over the next valley, over the next mountain, and all day long Rinpoche would be blessing people like this. Yeah, incredible, no? Like all day long. And he also never, all day long like this, also never get up to go to the bathroom or anything, like all day long, like maybe 12 hours a day, blessing people, like super Reiki, yeah? We call, in the Tibetan tradition, we have something called Chagwan, which means hand blessing, yeah? So Rinpoche said this is very much like the modern Reiki, yeah? Now we have this idea of, putting the hands and healing. So Rinpoche said, oh, since the Buddha's time we had Chagwang, yeah? So the lamas would like touch people's heads, yeah? Okay? And give them a blessing, yeah? Which would heal them and awaken their inner qualities, yeah? Okay? Okay, so then it says, at the place where the Gangchen monastery was founded was an area of golden sand, and water and plants were extremely rare. So the Supreme Panchen Zanpo Tashi made a fountain, a pond, and the small Mulitinga, the lake, appear by the power of his magical manifestation. So what he actually did, it doesn't say here, but he had like a walking stick, yeah. So there was complete desert, yeah, like nothing was growing at all, yeah, just a desert, yeah. So what he did is he put his walking stick like this into the ground with some prayers, and water bubbled up, yeah. And so then this water kept on bubbling up, and it formed what Rinpoche used to call the TV lake of Gangchen, yeah, which is actually quite a big lake. So it became an oasis, yeah. So because there was water, then a small village could form around it. They could start to herd animals like yaks and things, yeah, yaks and sheep, and grow barley. And also a monastery was constructed, the Gangchen Rinpoche monastery, yeah, okay. So I said that last time we were talking, why it's called Gangchen Rinpoche is because when Panchen Zanpo Tashi, aka Rinpoche, 600 years ago, when he went there, there was two boys there. One was called Gangchen and one was called Rinpoche. So therefore he took this as like auspicious. No, one was called Rinpoche, yeah, and so which means increasing the Dharma, yeah, okay. And he said, okay, so this is the place where the Dharma will increase in the Himalayas in Gangchen, yeah. So then Panchen Zanpo Tashi gave this name Gangchen Rinpoche, yeah, okay, Gangchen Rinpoche Ling, yeah. And actually now our Albaniano Healing Meditation Center, the actual Tibetan name, I don't know if you know, is Gangchen Rinpoche Ling as well, yeah. So it's Gangchen Rinpoche Ling 2, or we have East one and West one, yeah. Okay, so we have two Gangchen Rinpoche Lings now, okay. So now we have the place where the Gangchen Dharma will increase in the west, in Albaniano, okay. And we have the Gangchen Monastery in Tibet, okay, 2, okay. So anyway, so Panchen Zanpo Tashi stuck his staff into the desert and come up this water that formed an oasis, yeah. And then it says he also planted trees and made a forest, which became a park for the monks, nuns, and lay people of different ages to enjoy and play around. And this can still be seen today, yeah. So around the lake, there's still some trees and things, yeah. Okay. Then it says, yeah, with regard to the generation of the throne holders of Gangchen Monastery, Desi Sangye Gyatso says clearly in his yellow lapis lazuli, which is his history of the Gelugpa tradition. Okay, Desi Sangye Gyatso was the regent of the 5th Dalai Lama. He was a very, very clever person who made the famous blue lapis lazuli text on medicine, and he made the white lapis lazuli text on astrology, and he made the yellow lapis lazuli text on the Gelugpa tradition, and probably made a red and a green one as well, which I don't know, but probably he did, yeah. So he said, the Gangchen Rinpoche Monastery was established by Panchen Zanpo Tashi, the second throne holder of Tashi Lumpo. In this great monastic palace, there had been the following lamas: Chuje, Topen Oza, Gyawa Samdrup. Gyawa Samdrup is Lama Michel, previous life at that time, yeah, okay. Then Sultrin Toba and many others, blah, 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 lots of them, okay. Okay. Many, many, many. Also, then Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen was there, yeah, okay. So Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen was actually a lama of Gangchen, yeah. He was also a lama of Tashi Lumpo, of course, yeah. So Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen, super famous. He made made lots of things now. He's a beautiful sungbum with all kinds of incredible practices. But our Guru Puja that we recite in all our NgalSo centers around the world, and which we recite in all our Gelugpa centers around the world, was written by Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen, who, according to Desi Sangye Gyatso was also a Lama of our Gangchen Rinpoche monastery. So that means we have a big connection with Guru Puja, and we should do it now. Okay. Then, blah, 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 many others, and many others, and many others. Okay. I won't bother reading you all the names. If you want to know in detail, you have to get this book, yeah? Better take out an account with our shop, yeah, with all these books. But they're all really, really interesting, yeah? So you won't waste your money. It's super interesting and super nice, yeah? Okay. And I don't get commission, by the way. But they are super nice books, yeah? Okay, so. Then it talks about how wonderful the Gangchen Monastery was at that time. It's now talking the time of the fifth Dalai Lama, how they were so good at studying the sutras, yeah? And there were many, many excellent scholars, yeah, okay? And it says they had different like colleges, like now we have like Ganden Scherzi and Ganden Jiangxi, we used to have, now the monastery's changed a bit, yeah? New divisions, yeah? But they also had like Gangchen Scherzi and Gangchen Jiangxi, yeah? It's a bit like in England, I don't know nowadays, but when I was at school, we used to have houses at school, yeah? A bit like Harry Potter, yeah? So each school we would why they have these houses is to give an identity to the students, and also it's kind of like to improve the studies of the students, no? So each house competes against the other one to become the top one, yeah? So also when I was at school, we had this in England. So all the Tibetan monasteries, they divided into colleges, okay? And the monks of each side, they would like compete each year to become the best, most brilliant students. So it helps people to study better, no? Yeah. So it says here there was a North Peak and South Peak of Gangchen Monastery, Ganden Jiangxi and Ganden Scherzi, yeah, okay. Okay, and anyway, I was saying last week, Rinpoche was saying that then they had like these kamsen, these hostels from Shigatse, from Sakya, different places where the students came from, yeah, and also one called Miksema kamsen, yeah. Maybe that was everybody else, yeah. Miksema is obviously our Miksema prayer of Lama Tsongkhapa, yeah. All other glupas go in Miksema kamsen, yeah. So then, Okay, and it says here that our Gangchen Rinpoche monastery, the monks, they always used to go to Serame Sangpa Kamsen, yeah, if they wanted to go to one of the great monasteries in central Tibet, yeah. So in fact, our Gangchen Rinpoche, he did in fact go to Serame Sangpa Kamsen, both in Tibet and in India, yeah, okay. Also Lama Michelle went there as well, yeah, and Mili Rinpoche, and it's always been connected with the Gangchen monastery, no? And it says also, so there was branch monasteries of the Gangchen Rinpoche, and also there was a sub-monastery and a nunnery. And there were also places where people could gather for the practice of the fasting retreat or nyungne, so places where the lay people, they could gather and do puja, yeah, okay? And also, there was a basic mani temple where they could turn the prayer wheel. So, those big prayer wheels, yeah, with millions of Om Mani Padme Hum, big one, you can push it and send out good wishes to all sentient beings, yeah. And it doesn't say here, but there was a very beautiful retreat center, yeah, okay. Why? Anyway, so when Rinpoche rebuilt the Gangchen monastery, he rebuilt all of this, okay. Okay, this is the anyway. This is the Tibetan biography of Panchen Zanpo Tashi. Okay, so and then it says, okay, the fourth successor of Panchen Zanpo Tashi, yeah. Oh, sorry, the fourth successor of the Panchen Lama reincarnations was Panchen Losang Chugyen, yeah. The fifth, now talking about the lineage of Panchen Lamas, yeah. Okay. Okay, so what it doesn't say here, let's have a look. Oh no, actually, this is what it talks about next, is how the relationship between Rinpoche in the 15th century and the Tashi Lumpo monastery, because here it talks about how he was already the abbot of Gangchen, okay, taking care of there. But it says, in the wood sheep year of 1474, so when he is 64 years old, well, it says Panchen Zanpo Tashi reached the age of 65. Why is 65? Is because in our Tibetan tradition, no? Already when you come out your mother's womb, you're 1 year old, because we count people's age from the moment of conception, yeah? So So when you're 1 year old, you're actually 2 years old, okay? And so it goes on like that, yeah, okay? Like Rinpoche, Gangchen Rinpoche, he actually was 79, no? But he always said he was 18. I was very proud of it. I reached 18, no? Like the Buddha, he said, no? Yeah. Okay, so when Panchen Zanpo Tashi was 65, he went to the great Tashi Lumpo monastery, yeah? And became the second throne holder of the omniscient Gedendrub. Thus, he acted for the sake of spreading the doctrine, yeah? Okay? Okay, this I'll tell you the whole story in a minute, yeah? He says, then he made a temple where there is a... he made a temple where now his holy relics are placed, yeah? And a Tara shrine, yeah? Okay, so anyway, so like that, yeah? So it says, Panchen Zanpo Tashi placed emphasis on the system of explanation and practice, teaching and so on, yeah, of Tashi Lumpo, and fulfilled all the wishes of all the sponsors. Not easy, no? He kept everybody happy, yeah? All the monks and all the sponsors, yeah? Very, like Rinpoche was very good at that, no? Then it says, okay, in 1478, aged 68, yeah, after performing powerful deeds such as annihilating enemies and obstacles that were harming the Buddha's teachings and harming other people, yeah, he, at the age of 69, he dissolved into the sphere of phenomena, yeah. And it says, then in the history, one history written by Panchen Sonam Dragpa. Panchen Sonam Dragpa actually is a past incarnation of our protector, yeah, okay? And also was a very great scholar, yeah, okay? So Panchen Sonam Dragpa, the protector when he was still a human, yeah, he said, while Panchen Zanpo Tashi, Rinpoche, yeah, was passing away, there appeared a very clear image and a holy body of Venerable Aryatara, yeah, sitting on a lotus flower on top of his room, yeah. So there appeared like a kind of, maybe on the wall, there appeared this very strong image of Tara, yeah, like a miraculous arising Tara, yeah. And it says, the way in which this master perfectly and completely became enlightened in the form of the Sambhogakaya enjoyment body during the intermediate state is evident from the collected works of the great Victor, Gyawa and Sapa, yeah? Yeah. Okay, so Gyawa and Sapa is super famous, yeah? He's our Lama of our lineage who got enlightened in 3 years, yeah? Who was one of the Panchen Lama incarnations. Really incredible, great yogi. I was reading his Namtha, his biography these days. Really incredible master, yeah? So anyway, so Gyawa and Sapa in his collected works, which is 2 volumes, yeah, okay. In there, he talks about how Panchen Zanpo Tashi, yeah, became, actually I must read this actually, I'm going to get it out and read it, yeah. How Panchen Zanpo Tashi became enlightened after death in the Bardo intermediate state, not in the Bardo. After death, he took the form of Guya Samaja, he took the form of the rainbow body, yeah, okay. So, now I need to say a lot more things, okay? Because this is the Tibetan version, okay? Okay, so now I need to add a lot more to that. Okay, that was the Tibetan one, is kind of short, yeah? So what it doesn't say here, but what Rinpoche La told myself and many other people many times is that how did he get to be the abbot, second throne holder of Tashi Lumpo? So here it says, okay, he was the abbot of Gangchen, and then at the age of 64, the first Dalai Lama, Gedendrub, very famous, yeah, he chose him as his successor, okay? So what it doesn't say here is that the Tashi Gedendrub was like a direct disciple of Lama, or second generation disciple of Lama Tsongkhapa, okay? So then he was looking for one successor, and he had many, many wonderful disciples, or super disciples, okay? So they really didn't know who to choose. So he thought, okay. Gedendrub had like a very special connection with Palden Lama Magzoma, yeah? Yeah? Who's an Indian Dharma protector who kindly came to Tibet and has been taking care of many traditions of Dharma for many, many centuries, okay? So Gedendrub he prayed to Palden Lama and did many requests, many prayers to her. And then they did a divination about who should be the next abbot of the monastery. So when they have this thing with an urn, with the names of different people, and out came the name of Panchen Sampo Tashi, yeah? So for this reason, because he was indicated by Palden Lama, yeah, then he became recognized as the second throne holder of Tashi Lumpo Monastery, okay? And then he continued the work of Gedendrup, the first Dalai Lama, and built up this incredible Tashi Lumpo Monastery, which is still there to this day, you know? So Rinpoche always said that, you know, since that time, he's always had like a very, very close connection with Palden Lama Magzoma, yeah? Okay, let me just have a look. I'll just tell you some of the stories that Rinpoche told, yeah? Okay? 1 second, let me just find it, yeah? Let's have a look. Hang on. Like he used to say, for example, that Palden Lama would appear to him as Panchen Sampo Tashi many, many times, yeah? So, for example, when he was creating our Gangchen Rinpoche monastery, there were many times that Palden Lama would appear in the form of a girl who was herding animals, and she would always come from one direction, like from the west, yeah, okay? And then, so many, many times she would appear to him like this, yeah? And finally, they made one beautiful statue of Palden Lama, and they had one small statue of Palden Lama that had been brought from India, from Nalanda Monastery. Yeah. Now remember, the Indian monastic universities like Nalanda, Vikram Srila, and all these kind of places had been destroyed by this point. Yeah. So there was just like some relics left that had been taken by the refugees into the Himalayas, into other countries. Yeah. So one of the relics from Nalanda, very holy Nalanda monastery, was this statue like this of Palden Lama. Okay. So then what they did is they built like a big, in Tibet they made many statues made of like clay. Yeah. Okay. And then they were painted and gilded. Okay. So they made like a huge statue of Palden Lama, and in the heart they placed this statue from Nalanda Monastery. So during the consecration ceremony of that, this girl came, this one who always used to come and talk to Panchen Sampo Tashi, Rinpoche, and she actually dissolved into the Palden Lama statue. So then everybody understood that really that girl was a manifestation of Palden Lama, always taking care, So Rinpoche said always he had like this very, very special connection with Palden Lama. So it's many, many lifetimes. Actually, we have a very beautiful prayer that he wrote about Palden Lama, in not in this volume, but in the collected works of Panchen Sampo Tashi that we have to. We've translated it now, and we're preparing for publication. All these things, Finally, we need to put all Rinpoche's works out in the best way, So he made beautiful prayer to Palden Lama, really, really beautiful. Right? Anyway, also, he said, so he had a Rinpoche, he always said he had a connection with Palden Lama, and also with Dorji Ragtema, which is another form of Palden Lama. And I remember one time we went to Gangchen and then to the monasteries around, actually to Shalu Monastery, and there'd come a rainbow around one temple, which is a temple of Palden Lama, and the rainbow looked like this, I mean, normally rainbows look like this, don't they? Like a bow shape, But this one looked literally like a horseshoe, Okay, so it was narrower and like this. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen such a thing. It was actually physically, it's kind of impossible, isn't it, to see something? But anyway, we saw very clearly a rainbow like this, like two, not only one rainbow like that, but two rainbows like that, exactly like two horseshoes, or two mule shoes, Okay. So Rinpoche said, yes, of course, that's the. Is Palden Lama, no? So he's showing like these rainbows like horseshoes, Like, we see many very special things like that with Rinpoche, really, because of his connection since many lives with all these holy beings, Okay. Okay, let me just get it 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Okay, let me take from the space treasury, as Rinpoche used to call it, Okay, here we are. So I just want to tell you more of these stories about Rinpoche and Palden Lama. Okay. Oh, okay. Here we are. Okay. So anyway. Okay. So anyway. So when because with the support of Palden Lama, who was also very close to Gaden Drup, the first Dalai Lama, yeah. Then Gaden Drup accepted Panchen Sampo Tashi, aka Rinpoche, as his successor, and he taught him everything that was necessary to continue to run the Tashi Lumpo monastery after him. Yeah, okay, a bit like Rinpoche with Lama Michel. Yeah, okay. So then, after Gaden Drup had done that, he entered into the clear light and passed away. Yeah, and in those days, even till recently, no, the bodies of the high lamas, they used to preserve them in salt. Yeah, okay. Why? Because they're considered a basis of great blessing, great power, great energy. Okay, like the support of a enlightened mind. You know? So for many of the bodies of the Panchen lamas and the Dalai lamas and other very, very important high lamas we call it like mummified, but they used to place them in like not like the Egyptians. They used to place them in salt, yeah, for up to 2 years, yeah, okay. So the body would become completely dry, okay. So then they would place this body, which was now dry, inside the stupa, yeah. They said they had really big stupas, and so, for example, in the Potala Palace in Lhasa, no, there's still in several of the stupas in the hall of the Dalai Lamas, the bodies are still there, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, other ones I don't know, but I remember that one, okay. So anyway, so however, the body of the first Dalai Lama is in a golden stupa at Tashi Lumpo, yeah, okay. So he's the only one of the Dalai Lamas whose relics are not kept in the Potala Palace. Yeah, why? Because he was the first abbot of Tashi Lumpo Monastery. Yeah, okay. So anyway, so then it continues. Panchen Sampo Tashi, who was Vajrapani. So this weekend we had a Vajrapani course, yeah. And we tried to connect. I think we did connect with Rinpoche in his Vajrapani form. Yeah, very powerful, yeah. So that's very, very good to think of Rinpoche in that way. And incredible blessings come if we think in that way, yeah. So in our Dharma text, it says, if you think of somebody as ordinary, you get the blessings of an ordinary person. If you think of them as bodhisattva, you get the blessing of a bodhisattva. If you think of them as a Buddha, you get the blessing of a Buddha. So if we think of Rinpoche as Vajrapani, we get the blessings of Vajrapani, okay? Also, he was recognized since 600 years as an emanation of Vajrapani, okay? So he had that special quality to pacify everybody's minds, and we know that was 100% true because we all experienced it, okay? So then it says, okay, it says, okay, so Panchen Sampo Tashi became the abbot of Tashi Lumpo Monastery, yeah? And it says he was an expert in Kalachakra, Yamantaka, Hayagriva, and many other things, actually. We have this, this is the modern version, yeah? In about 30 years ago, Rinpoche was in Tibet, yeah? And in the Potala Palace Library, yeah, okay, they have like many, many volumes that actually were gathered by, what's he called? Excuse my ignorance of Chinese history, yeah? But in the Cultural Revolution, yeah, there was a minister of culture, yeah? Sorry, I've forgotten his name, but what they did is, okay, there was a lot of destruction during the Cultural Revolution, but this Minister of Culture, he actually preserved many of the most important treasures and texts of the Tibetan monasteries, and they were put in like big deposits and libraries in various places, like, for example, in the Potala, yeah, okay? So, anyway, Rinpoche was there, I think, about 30 years ago in Tibet, yeah? And then we discovered, let's say, that there was a copy of Rinpoche's past life book. The Sungbum, the collected works of Panchen Sampo Tashi, was still existing, yeah? So Rinpoche was incredibly happy because during the Cultural Revolution, the Gangchen Monastery was destroyed completely, okay, and also the libraries, everything was gone, yeah. Very few things were actually saved, yeah. But actually, one thing that was saved was the Palden Lama statue that originally was in the big statue of the protectress of the monastery, yeah. So the central piece, the little statue that was brought from India, that little statue was actually kept and buried by one family and preserved for many, many years, yeah. And when Rinpoche first went back to the Gangchen Monastery in 1987, they gave it back to him, yeah. And now that statue, then afterwards Rinpoche, with the agreement of the Chinese authorities, yeah, and many donations from many friends all over the world, he rebuilt the Gangchen Monastery, okay. And then finally the little statue was put back in the main statue of the Palden Lama of Gangchen, so she went back there, yeah. Another thing that was preserved actually was a little statue. They used to have like these images of the 84 Mahasiddhas, yeah, okay. So one of them, which was on the stone, that was also preserved, yeah. But very, very little was left, okay. It was completely, yeah. So then in the, let's say, early 90s, Rinpoche was in Lhasa, yeah. And he discovered that in the Potala Palace, yeah, he knew the librarians and the lamas there in Tibet, yeah, in Lhasa, yeah. And he discovered that in the Potala Library, there was a copy of the Sungbom, the collected works of Panchen Zanpo, yeah, okay, which was like really an incredible thing, because he thought it would have been lost and, you know, there was no copy left in the world, yeah. So he was super incredible happy, yeah. So then he went there, yeah. But I heard it was in the Potala Library, okay. But then he discovered actually it being taken to Beijing, yeah, to the Central Library of Tibetan Texts there, yeah. So then next time he was in Beijing, yeah, he went there. He went to this library, and at that time, you know, it wasn't like nowadays, yeah. Now China's super modern, yeah, but that was time it was a very different time, yeah. So, I mean, obviously you can't borrow the books, because the books are all like 600 years old. So, you know, you can just go and have a look if you're very good friends with the librarian and the custodians, yeah. But absolutely no way can you borrow a book, okay? But anyway, Rinpoche, with his incredible charm and charisma and connections, the librarian agreed to let him borrow a copy, yeah. So then went out, and then Rinpoche said, oh, when we wanted to make a photocopy, but so difficult, because in those days there wasn't hardly any photocopies in Beijing. Can you imagine? Even one photocopy machine was very difficult at that time, yeah. And not only that, he wanted a big size, yeah, because not like the small size, yeah. But finally, he found somebody who had one in an office, some friend, yeah. So then, like, took it out, and like 24 hours, day and night, him and his friends are copying this book, like, vroom, 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 and then have to give back the original the next day, yeah. So finally, he had one copy, yeah, and he was very happy. Actually, I remember I was there, you know, and we have to cut with scissors, like, you know, just photocopies, yeah, and then make a copy, yeah, okay, yeah, and reassemble like a photocopy of the Rinpoche's collected works from 600 years ago, okay. Okay, so Rinpoche was super happy, yeah. And actually, next time, on Thursday, I have not the original, obviously, the original copy is with Rinpoche, was with Rinpoche. Now it's in Rinpoche, it's in Albaniano in Rinpoche room, no? I have like a photocopy, yeah, a printed copy of the copy, yeah. And I'll show next on Thursday, I'll show it to you. It's really beautiful, yeah, okay. Anyway, from this, so it was all, so the tradition of Gangchen was thought to be lost, okay, like the Panchen Zanpo collected works, but then we found a copy. And then, but then it's in medieval handwriting. So then Rinpoche had to find a specialist of medieval text, yeah, from Sera Monastery, I think, yeah, who translated it from medieval Tibetan handwriting. I'll show you on Thursday, yes, I've got it here, a copy, yeah, into like modern, yeah, into Uchen Tibetan, which is readable by most people, yeah, who can read to most Dharma people, okay. So based on that, then Rinpoche requested Lotsawa Sherab to translate it, yeah. So then finally we have this beautiful translation of the collected works of Panchen Zanpo, yeah, from which we're gradually publishing like a series of beautiful books, yeah. And at first, when we started to do that, of course, we, as usual, knew nothing whatsoever about the subject. And we said, yes, Rinpoche, I did. But now we discovered a lot of it's about the Vajravali and all kinds of super incredible, interesting things, yeah. Yeah, so gradually we'll finish to bring that out, okay? Anyway, So what was I saying here? So it said that why? Because it says here, Panchen Zanpo Tashi was an expert in Kala Chakra, Yamantaka, Hayagriva, and many, many other beautiful things that are in his collected works, which we now have a copy of, which Rinpoche requests us to publish. Yeah, okay. So far we've made 2 volumes, but we need to make another 2. So please, all kind friends, who work so hard, like for example Sarah, and all our editors and proofreaders and graphic people, we need another huge effort to make volume 3 and volume 4, for the benefit of our NgalSo Sangha. So please, let's start to think about doing that. Okay. Anyway, so it says it was an incredible expert, and he was an expert on these things. And Rinpoche, when we did the Vajravali, this incredible series of initiations that we did in Albaniano 3 years ago, he said that now the main commentary on our Gelugpa Vajravali is from Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen, our Lama of Gangchen, who's very super famous Panchen Lama, who did our Lama Chirpa and many other beautiful things, including a commentary on the Vajravali. So Rinpoche said, I was very happy about it, he said that actually Panchen Lobsang Chukyi Gyaltsen, the Panchen Lama, actually what he referred to write his book was the book of Panchen Zanpo Tashi, aka Rinpoche. So Rinpoche was super happy about that. But also recently, we did the Vajravali. So you can see for how it goes from life to life. Rinpoche really, once he gets something like one prayer, one dedication, never change. Okay, even if it's like 500 years later, he will complete what he said. That's really what we call samaya, commitment. So, for example, when Rinpoche went back to the Gangchen, and that when he first went back, there was like nothing. Okay, very, very small, like tiny, just a tiny little kind of hut, which was serving as the Gangchen, like a shed, which was serving as the Gangchen monastery. But then Rinpoche raised fund and built this now very big monastery. Okay, and Rinpoche said, of course, because I promised 600 years ago to take care of the Gangchen monastery. I have a commitment. So even if I'm not living there anymore, still I have the same commitment, same love, same attention, and I will rebuild the Gangchen monastery, continue the Gangchen tradition, which is also why he named Albaniano Gangchen Chirpa Ling, for the continuation of the Gangchen lineage and teachings. Okay, so all very interesting. Okay. Anyway, so it says here in this now I'm referring to this many-sided crystal biography, this unpublished biography of Rinpoche's past lives. So it says Panchen Zanpo Tashi could see Palden Lama directly. Okay, she really does exist. Okay, she's a supramundane Dharma protector. Okay, she's out of samsara and she doesn't manifest through an oracle, but that doesn't mean she doesn't exist. She really does exist, like very much so. So Panchen Zanpo Tashi could see her like one person seeing another. And it said, and sometimes. It says that sometimes when things went wrong in the Gangchen monastery, he used to call her up, request her to come and then complain to her. And sometimes she used to complain to him. Like they had a very close relationship, like really high beings, okay. And so obviously, like we normal people, no way we could like complain to a Dharma protector. A, they just ignore us, or B, they would just brush us off like nothing. But these very high lamas like Gangchen Rinpoche or Kyabje Pabonka Rinpoche or His Holiness Kyabje Trijang Rinpoche, they have different kind of level of, a completely different state of consciousness from us, So they have this like direct relationship with the holy beings and Dharma protectors that we don't have, So they can do these kind of things. We just need to say, pray, oh, please protect us, take care of this, that, and the other. That's what we need to do. No complaining required. Okay. Okay, so then Rinpoche said, which I wrote down, he said in the Gangchen monastery, and at the Tashi Lumpo, he had a special room where he did like special tantric magical practices, especially, and he used to specially invoke the Dharma protectors, especially Palden Lama, who was very much loving towards him, and so would bestow the 4 activities and help develop the monastery. Okay. So in Tibet, it was, I mean, it's different time, no? It's the Middle Ages. So people's minds are different from now, yeah, okay? So also the way that our lamas used to act is different from now. Okay, so this bit now is definitely not how Rinpoche La was as Rinpoche, no? Now it's talking about 600 years ago, yeah? So it says, for example, yeah, it says the Tashi Lumpo monastery. It says at the time, in the 15th century, there was a merchant track going all the way through the monastery, yeah, okay? And so even when the monastery was built, yeah, the traders continued to go through it, and they used to bring horses and also caravans of yaks, which is not like one, it's like maybe 100, okay, yaks with like merchants, yeah? And they used to take the yaks through the debating grounds of the monastery, yeah, okay? So this was disturbing the monks, and also the merchants were not the most educated kind of people, so they were kind of rude, they were making a lot of noise, they were swearing, they were spitting, and it says they were peeing, no, on the monastery grounds and the debating grounds, yeah, okay? So that many times Panchen Zampa says, please do not do this, I request you, please take the road around the monastery, because this is before they made a wall, yeah, okay? In the early days of the Tashi Lumpo monastery, yeah? But the merchants didn't care, and they continued anyway to take their yaks through, because they said it's like a shortcut, no? Okay. So the merchants didn't have any respect for the new monastery of Tashi Lumpo, and also it was kind of like also then the local people, they didn't have any respect for the monastery, okay? So after some years, Panchen Sampo said, okay, now enough is enough. So he made like a puja, and he made anyway, he did a puja, yeah? And he invoked Palden Lama, yeah? And basically what happened is many of the traders, when they were going through the monastery, they fell off their yaks and died, okay? Yeah? But their minds were transferred to the Pure Land of Amitabha. So one externally looks horrible, no? They all fall down dead off their yaks, yeah? Okay? Yeah, and the men and the yaks all fell down dead in the debating courtyard of Tashi Lumpo. But actually their minds were transferred to the Pure Land of Amitabha. So actually, for them, it was actually very good, actually, finally. Yeah, okay. After that, it says the local people completely changed their attitude. They start to become super faithful towards Panchen Zampo Tashi and the monks of Tashi Lumpo, and they bring many more offerings. And then actually also they built a wall around the monastery, because that's why monasteries have what's called a monastic enclosure, but they actually need to be separated off from the normal life, yeah? Because why? Because it's a spiritual place, and it's like a different world, no? And it's not suitable for example, somebody to drive like a motorway through the center of a Dharma center, no? Yeah? And behave like in a mundane way, yeah? Okay? Anyway, so then people became much more respectful to Tashi Lumpo, and then the fame of Tashi Lumpo started. Tashi Lumpo means the heap of glory, yeah? So the fame of Tashi Lumpo developed, and then till this day, actually, it's super famous. One of the most important monasteries of Tibet, yeah? Even to this day, yeah? Okay? So then Rinpoche said, Panchen Zampo Tashi's fame spread, yeah? This is like in the last 5 years of his life, yeah? Between 65 and 70, no? Okay? So he received many offerings, which he donated all to Tashi Lumpo. And with this money, he built many of the prayer halls and libraries and hostels and so, which we have all seen, no? We've all visited. So that was actually, many of those things was actually built by Rinpoche in his past life, yeah? And it says that Rinpoche said at Tashi Lumpo, even to this day, they still sing songs in remembrance of Panchen Zampo Tashi's magical powers, yeah? And he sang me the song, yeah, which translated means there are many powerful lamas in Tashi Lumpo, but Panchen Zampo Tashi's power is unlimited like the sky, okay? So they have one song like that from Tashi Lumpo, remembering Panchen Zampo Tashi, yeah, okay? Okay. So, okay. What else? Yeah, okay. So now I'm referring to the crystal biography, okay? The one that based on what Rinpoche told me, okay? So also, outside the Gangchen monastery, yeah, They had many different courtyards and temples and retreat centers, so on. But one thing they had was a stone throne, which was used by Panchen Sampo Tashi Rinpoche to give open-air teachings in the summer, yeah? And this stone, yeah, had previously been blessed by Gedendrub, the first Dalai Lama, yeah, when Panchen Sampo Tashi and Gedendrub, the first Dalai Lama, had gone on pilgrimage to the Shelkar cave, which was a holy cave which Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, used to meditate in above Gangchen Monastery, yeah? So do you remember I was telling the story of Rinpoche's life as Kachin Sapanla, yeah? The one before our Rinpoche, no? So at that time, before Kachin Sapanla became the abbot of Gangchen Monastery, again, yeah? He was a meditator, a yogi up in a cave up above Gangchen Monastery, yeah? So there was him, Kachin Sapanla, Rinpoche. Then there was the past life of Tomo Geshe Rinpoche. And then there was a third Lama called Shelkar Rinpoche, yeah? So this Shelkar Rinpoche was the one who was staying in this cave, the crystal cave of Padmasambhava, yeah? Okay? And if you remember the story I was telling the other day, Shelkar Rinpoche was the one who was a married Lama, and he had a wife and a baby, yeah? And then his wife died up in the cave, yeah? So rather than going back down to the village, he continued the retreat, and the Tibetan people said that when the baby was very little, the Shelkar Rinpoche, despite being a man, he fed the baby himself from his own nipple until such time as the baby boy got big enough to be fed with sampa, yeah? Okay? Anyway, so the stone throne of Panchen Sampo Tashi, which is still there, yeah? This stone was brought from Shelkar, yeah? Okay? And it's blessed by Padmasambhava and Gedendrub, the first Dalai Lama, yeah? And of course also Panchen Sampo Tashi, yeah? Okay? Okay, then another story about Panchen Sampo Tashi, yeah? Well, this is now about Gangchen Monastery, yeah? From the crystal biography, okay? So when Panchen Sampo Tashi was building the Gangchen Monastery, he used to go around and visit. He'd stuck his stick in the water, no? And the water would come out like an oasis, yeah? Okay? Which is true, these things really happen, yeah? So he used to also walk around to the local villages and give teachings to the people in the local hamlets, okay? So one day, as he approached one of the villages near there, which there's several, again, the Tibetan people set their mastiffs on him, yeah? So in Tibet, they've got these really, there's dogs and there's, Tibetan mastiffs. They're, enormous. I don't know if they're, the biggest in the world, but probably, very big and very scary, okay? Anyway, so they set the horrible big mastiffs on him. So as the mastiffs came towards him, he just stood there and showed a kind of wrathful face, and he pulled out his kangling, his thigh bone trumpet, and he blew it, something like that, yeah, okay? And on the third time, after the third sound of his kangling, the mastiffs, poof, dropped dead of heart attacks, yeah, okay? After that, yeah, the people from that hamlet, who rather naughtily had set their mastiffs on him, yeah, became ill and gradually passed away until their family lineage ceased and the hamlet became deserted, yeah, okay? And after that, actually, that village was abandoned. Nobody wanted to live there, yeah, okay? Okay. Okay, so you might think, well, why did lamas in that time behave like that? Why they behave like that? Because it was the Middle Ages, you know? And, like Game of Thrones, okay? We've probably all seen Game of Thrones. Well, Game of Thrones was nothing. The real Game of Thrones was in Tibet and Mongolia, okay? Yeah? With all these, warlords, all the time horrible, fighting each other, burning, killing, invading each other, yeah? So a very rough place, yeah, the Middle Ages in Tibet and Mongolia, okay? So these aristocratic dynasties, they also were linked to various groups of lamas, yeah, okay? And so the lamas of that time in the Middle Ages, they needed to show their power in order for people to respect them. I mean, nowadays we have this thing that, of course, we're Gelugpas, and our Lama Tsongkhapa said, we're from the Kadampa tradition, yeah, so better not show your powers, yeah? But in the Middle Ages, whether the Lama Tsongkhapa said that or not, if you had them, you showed them, yeah, okay? So anyway, it was in those days people had a different mentality from nowadays, yeah. So therefore the lamas needed to act in a different way. I mean, our Rinpoche was just like super nice and super kind to everybody, and he used to give flowers to everybody. You know, he was very, very sweet. Like, you know, he used to give like lots of flowers to like all the, also, you know, like to all the other monks, all the other lamas. Very sweet, you know, very loving, yeah. So that's how Rinpoche La was manifesting in his now in his present, the recent like Gangchen Rinpoche incarnation. No? So anyway, so it continues. Pancha Zampotashi performed many miracles around the Gangchen area, and you can still see his footprints melted into the rock as if it was butter, yeah? So I've seen this stone, yeah? So there's this stone that's now in the Gangchen monastery, which is supposedly the footprints of Pancha Zampotashi, yeah? Now, some modern people may find this kind of thing hard to believe, but all these things, it's like, well, it's just like we have a different worldview, okay? And the Vajrayana Buddhist view is a very, very different world from the modern industrialized world, yeah, okay? And sometimes you just have to like, I mean, I know Buddha said, okay, you need to test all my teachings like gold, and you know, of course this is true. But so what we need to do is first we shouldn't like just dismiss all these things out of hand, because actually some of these things really are true, you know? I've seen many of these things there. Like I remember one time we were with Rinpoche in Tashilhunpo again, yeah, and they had like at that time it was when the present Panchen Lama was very young, yeah. So they had this like search for the different candidates who would be the chosen as the Panchen Lama, yeah. So there was like I think there was like 3 of them who were like selected, and finally one of them became the present Panchen Lama. Okay, so. We went to the place where one of these candidates of the Panchen Lama was born, yeah? And again the locals brought out the rock, yeah, and they showed like this rock, and it did actually look, I must say, like baby feet, yeah, like a baby had been like playing in mud or something, like sliding, and looked like a baby that pushed the foot like this, yeah, but except it was in a piece of stone, and they said we didn't believe it either until he started doing things like this, like putting the feet in rocks and sliding around. So. In our Vajrayana tradition, there's many accounts of great siddhas, great highly realized beings, being able to manipulate reality, yeah? And sometimes to show their powers, they can do things like that, like put their hands in rock or their feet in rocks and so on. For example, in the Parping caves in Kathmandu, no? Outside Kathmandu, there's the very clear handprint of Padmasambhava, yeah? She had quite a small hand, actually, my size. I've put my hand in it, yeah? So actually there's many of these things in the Himalayas, yeah. Okay, so maybe if you've never seen anything like this before, you might think this is far too far-fetched, but really sometimes you need to have an open mind, because there's many things more in this world than just what's on Netflix and what's in the modern industrial world and what they teach you at school in the modern world. There's really very, very many more things to this world than that, yeah. So anyway, so in Gangchen, they've got this rock, which has got Rinpoche's footprints in the stone, yeah? But, okay, we've also got one in Albaniana where Rinpoche put his feet in, but in that case, he did put his feet into cement and then it was set. Okay, that's near our Buddha wall, no? In the Buddha garden, yeah? In front of our Albaniana Healing Meditation Center. But in the 15th century, could put the feet actually into rock. So you might say, why is it not possible nowadays, or mostly not possible nowadays? Because one of the Panchen Lama incarnations did it, no? Like a few years ago. Mostly it's because the elements are very impure, yeah? Okay. I was listening to the radio today, and I was listening to one report about how, you know, babies' bottles, yeah? Okay, a lot of ladies, they feed milk to their baby in plastic bottles, yeah? I think in my time there were glass bottles, but now they use plastic bottles. So they're saying, like, every time you feed your baby in milk in a plastic bottle, it's coming millions of microparticles that your baby's ingesting. So from when we're born, you know, immediately we're eating all this contamination, no? So of course, like, our elements are impure, and then of course we cannot do things like one used to be able to do in the Middle Ages when the elements were more pure. That's what Rinpoche himself said, yeah? Yeah, so we really need to take care of the elements. So the fact that around Rinpoche La there were still many incredible manifestations of special things, like I told you today, no? When we went to Shalu Temple, They come these rainbows that look like the horse feet, yeah, okay, which physically is impossible, but we all saw it clearly, and this was because it was the sign of one form of Palden Lama that Rinpoche had a connection with since many hundreds of years. So we see many things, not just me, many people saw that. We saw many things which, let's say, according to the laws of physics, are impossible, but are possible. Rinpoche always said impossible, possible, didn't he? Yeah? And that's why he had this flag, no? Where is it? His flag, no? Okay. The symbol, it means impossible, possible, yeah? On many, many different levels, yeah? Okay. Anyway, so, okay, then in the crystal biography, it says, Panchen Zanpo Tashi stayed mainly at Tashi Lumpo, but visited Gangchen Churpul as often as his schedule would permit. He wrote many books on Sutra and Tantra and many other subjects, yeah? And then it says, okay, then we found this book. It says Rinpoche found it in 1991, and I will hopefully, please somebody send me a WhatsApp, yeah? And remind me to get out the photocopy I have of the original. I'll show it to you. It's amazing, yeah? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, when Panchen Zanpo Tashi came to pass away, yeah, okay, he took what's called it said, I was reading this Tibetan biography, no? And it says he achieved, and I'm reading this book here. I'm reading page, I'm reading page 29 of the first volume of the collected works of Panchen Zanpo Tashi, yeah? And it says that Panchen Sonang Dragpa, yeah, he was a past incarnation of our world peace protector. He wrote that when Panchen Zanpo Tashi, Rinpoche, in that time, passed away, there appeared a very clear image of Tara in the room where he passed away, yeah, like a kind of miracle manifestation, yeah. And it says that the Gyawa Ensapa, yeah, the very famous speedy yogi, one of the Panchen Lamas, very important, he wrote in his collected works about how Panchen Zanpo Tashi became enlightened in the enjoyment body during the after death, yeah. So this means he was taking the he rose in the as Guya Samadja, yeah, okay, and achieved what we call the Gyulu, the illusory body, yeah, okay. So our Lama Tsongkhapa, okay, let me show you. Okay, up there, that's Lama Tsongkhapa. Up there, yeah, that's a picture of the founder of our Gelugpa tradition, Lama Tsongkhapa, okay. Lama Tsongkhapa was an incredible, important yogi in Tibet who lived in the 14th century, yeah. And he showed, even though he was like an incarnation, he showed all his life like an ordinary person, then gradually entering into retreat, writing incredible books on philosophy. And he passed away. I think he was 63, I think, when he passed away. And he also passed away and arose in the form of Buddha Guya Samadja, yeah? So Guya Samadja is this practice that we do, that Lama Gangchen taught us, yeah, with the 32 points and so on, yeah? So the early lamas of our Gelugpa tradition, like Gedun Drub, like Panchen Zanpo Tashi, like Lama Tsongkhapa, and many Sherab Shenge, and many others, yeah, they were great masters of Guya Samadji, yeah, and all of them, what they did is at the time of, because they're all monks, yeah, spent all their life as monks meditating in monasteries, and at the time of death they used the death experience to achieve awakening, to achieve enlightenment. And in the Guya Samadja Tantra, there's very many special meditation instructions that explain how to dissolve the elements in a very, very special way, and how to arise as what's called the illusory body, yeah? So the illusory body is now in our heart, yeah? In our heart chakra here, we have the essence of our life, yeah? The Sogzin Lung, yeah? And this is the part of us that goes from life to life. So when we die, yeah, the body drops away, but the mind does not die, yeah, it will continue. And our definition of death in our Vajrayana tradition is the separation of the body from the mind. Yeah, the body drops away, then the mind has to go on to the next life. Yeah. So the question is how, whether we're doing a controlled way or an uncontrolled way. So for like 99.99% of people, it's in an uncontrolled way, and we come back deluded and so on, and another samsaric life starts again and again and again and again, and on we go like this. Yeah. For high holy beings like Rinpoche and so on, yeah, they have when the body drops away, yeah, the illusory body is there, no? So then it's like already formed and ready, go. Then, like now, Rinpoche is out the body in the illusory body form, and then at such time as appropriate, yeah, we'll descend back into another human womb and will be reborn again and continue. Why we'll continue? Because since many lives, Rinpoche promised to do so, to continue to guide his followers and disciples and continue the spiritual tradition, yeah? Okay, the Ganden tradition, the NgalSo tradition. So it's many, many different names, no? Okay? But anyway, we'll come back for the next generation, yeah, of spiritual practitioners to guide them again and again. And actually, he promised to come back until samsara is empty. So I'll be coming back a lot, yeah? Especially if it depends on us. Anyway, we'll do our best, Rinpoche, yeah? Okay. Okay, so anyway, so Rinpoche always used to explain about, let me see if I can find a picture I'll show you a picture from Self-Healing 3. Okay, 1 second. Okay, this is NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing 3. This is the Spanish version, Guide to the Good Thought Supermarket, yeah? You can also get this from all Rinpoche's books from Albaniano shop, yeah? Or from our Dharma centers around the world. Let me just find you a picture of what I'm looking for. Let me see if I can find it. So we, in our Vajrayana teachings, we have the story of the Garuda. I'm sure there's a picture of Garuda in here. I'm sure the story's in here. Let me see if I can find the picture. Can't find it. Anyway, maybe it's in the English edition. Let's have a look. Okay, so anyway, so basically Rinpoche always used to tell the story, the Indian myth of the Garuda. The Garuda is the king of birds, yeah? And when it's born in an egg, because we have 4 types of birth, yeah? Born in an egg, born in a womb, born from moisture, yeah? A miracle birth, yeah? So when it's born in an egg, it spends all its time exercising inside the egg like a little Garuda gymnasium. And when it is hatched, yeah, when it breaks through the shell, it immediately flies up into the sky and never comes down, yeah? So this is actually a symbol for the realization of the illusory body, yeah, for somebody like Panchazampo Tashi, yeah? Because, yeah, they look like a normal person, like everybody else, but inside they're developing their inner illusory body quality, okay? So then, at the time of the death, the illusory body is fully manifested. Yeah, they don't die; they manifest as this like deathless illusory body. Yeah, and then from a forevermore, they have this, and they can go from life to life, and just it's like then going from life to life is just like changing the car or something. So when the body is worn out, they just get a new body. Yeah, which is what Rinpoche has just done. No? Unfortunately for us. Yeah, but anyway, it has to do. No chance to stay. Yeah, Rinpoche knew. That's what he had to do, okay? So anyway, so in the Tibetan biography of Panchazampo Tashi, it says where the chapel was, where his relics were placed, yeah? His holy relics were placed there. And myself and many other people, or many other of Rinpoche's disciples, we've been there to that chapel, yeah, with Rinpoche. And apart from the fact there's the stupa with the relics of Panchazampo Tashi, Rinpoche, 600 years ago. There's a mural on the wall of like rainbows, many, many rainbows. And Rinpoche said that was because Panchazampo Tashi had achieved the rainbow body, okay? Yeah, the illusory body, okay? So anyway, so it's why the picture of rainbows? Because it's not like a physical body, okay? It's like maybe to look at if you have that kind of high perception. It looks like transparent, like a rainbow. Let me put it in Western terms, yeah, okay? Okay, Christ, yeah, okay, Jesus Christ, he was died, whatever. Then afterwards he was seen with his disciples, some of his disciples like Mary Magdalene and so on. They saw him, and then finally went up to heaven. And if you look at those Christian pictures, of which there's many, yeah, he's always surrounded by a rainbow, isn't he? A rainbow ball. So it's something kind of similar, yeah. So he manifested as human, yeah. But then finally flew up to the sky, like full of rainbows. So we call like illusory body or rainbow body, something like that, yeah. So these things are really possible, okay? So anyway, where are we here? Anyway, so like that. So yes, we have some pictures of this, actually, the chapel. Tiziana took many photos. I'm sure also Francesco, many other friends. If maybe we can share on our WhatsApp group. It's so nice to see these things, yeah. A very nice picture of Rinpoche in front of the stupa of Panchen Zampo Tashi, smiling away, looking very happy, yeah, okay. And hopefully in the future we'll have future Rinpoche smiling at us in front of the stupa of Gangchen Rinpoche, no? So please, Rinpoche, can we have that as soon as possible, please, okay? You know. Anyway, so like that, yeah, okay. So anyway, so thank you for listening. I hope you found that interesting, okay? So next Thursday, I'll continue with the story of Rinpoche's past incarnations. Please, somebody WhatsApp me and remember me to get out the Panchen Zampo Tashi book to show you, because I'd like to show you my photocopy of it. So interesting to see these things, yeah, okay? Anyway, so like this, yeah, so that was a little bit, a small part of the Namtha, the liberation story of Rinpoche 600 years ago when he was Panchen Zampo Tashi, and he founded the Gangchen Chirpo Monastery and was the second abbot of Tashi Lumpo, okay? Okay. Next time, we will talk about Latsun Namkha Ningpo, who was a Turton, a treasure founder who opened the magic land of Pemako in Sikkim, yeah? And Lobsang Kechok, who in the 18th century was Rinpoche, no? And he went to Beijing with the 6th Panchen Lama and was with the Kwanlong Emperor, super important, famous Chinese emperor who's into Vajrayana Buddhism. So I'll talk about those two lives of Rinpoche here. And then, more or less, that brings us up to, we already talked about Kachin Sapanla in the course of all this, and then that more or less brings us up to the present day and our Rinpoche, yeah? So then we will continue with the commentary of the technical explanation of the NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing, yeah? Okay, so anyway, so thank you for listening, yeah? Now, to conclude, we are going to do now the NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing in a short way, because all this explanation is preceded by and finished by self-healing, yeah? Because that's how Rinpoche said we have to do it, okay? Okay, so we did the preliminary practice, we did the Guru Yoga, Oma Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum, and Ayam Ramlan Bam. So now we're going to open the lotuses, yeah? And we're going to do the rest of self-healing in a very short way. Okay, excuse me, let's move all this big pile of Rinpoche books over there. Okay. Lucho Zampo Pelgyo Tashi Pa Tu Jen Tempe Hetrin Leyanota Pegedro Lo Zampe Zepachen Palden La Mahesha Blaso Wade Oma Guru Vajradhara Suhumahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasidi Humoma Guru Vajradhara Suhumahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavadanye Sri Bahadra Vasamahanya Sawasidi Humoma Guru Vajradhara Suhumahati Muni Shahasane Kama Uttavadanye Sri Bhadra Vasamahanya Sawasidi Pakyoke Kudan Dahagilu Pakyoke Sundahan Dagina Pakyoke Tudan Dahagi Danyamachi Tujingilo Makyoke Kudan Dahagilu Makyoke Sundahan Dagina Makyoke Tudan Dagi Danyamachi Tujingilo. Okay, we already did Oma Guru Buddha Siddhi Hum and AM Ramlan Bam. So now we're going to open the lotuses, okay? Pam lepe majanku, pam lepe masepo, pam lepe manopo, pam lepe mama. Lepe maka. Om ahum tram hri. Hri le na so do che janku hri. Tram le no bo se po tram. Hom le do je no hom po hom. Aha le pe ma ma po a. Om le ko lo ka po. Om kolo nanse doji ahapema doji doji mi kyo doji traham no burin rina so doji. Okay. Lama Toyun Doji Kien. Om Ahamoga Siddhi Hum. 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 Lama Rinchen Doji Kien. Om Aratna Sabhava Hum. Om Aratna Sabhava Hum. Om Aratna Sabhava Hum. Om Aratna Sabhava Hum. Om Aratna Sabhava. Lama Mikyo Doji Kien. Om Ahashobhya Hum. Om Ahashobhya Hum. Om Ahashobhya Hum. Om Ahashobhya. Om Ahashobhya Hum. Lama Chodoji Kien. Amitabhahum. Om Amitabhahum. Om Amitabhahum. Om Amitabhahum. Om Amitabhahum. Lama Nanse Doji Kien. Om Avarojanahum. Om Avarojanahum. Om Avarojanahum. Om Avarojanahum. Om Avarojanahum. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mahasukha Hum. Om Mahasukha Hum. Om Mahasukha Hum. Om Mahasukha Hum. Om Mahasukha. Om Bhishwa Shanti Hum. 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 Ni modele hesendele, ni me koya hantele shin, ni sentatu dele pel, kunjo sungi jingi, kunjo sungi no druso, kunjo sungi tashisho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness. Okay, so thank you all very much for listening. I hope thank you. Yeah. On Thursday, I'll be back and we'll be, like I say, talking about the next two incarnations of Rinpoche. And then we'll actually conclude talking about Rinpoche's past lives. Yeah. And then we will carry on talking about the different stages of the NgalSo Tantric Self-Healing and continue with the book, okay? So we'll go a little bit further than page 58, where we've been for quite a long time, yeah? Okay? But it doesn't matter. Rinpoche said to go into more depth, so we're doing, yeah? Because then our tradition is so rich, so profound, so beautiful, so we need to see a little bit what it is, no? Maybe you don't know. I mean, if you do, maybe you just think, oh, whatever. But anyway, I'm little bit, I'm showing a little bit of incredible things that's in our tradition from Rinpoche's past lives and so many beautiful things, yeah? So rich, so powerful, yeah? So anyway, so we'll go on like this. So see you all on Thursday. Have a good time, have a good week. Hope everything goes well with you, yeah? And that gradually we all get out of the pandemic, yeah? But anyway, while we are in the pandemic, let's try and use our time in the most positive way and spend our time study and practice and meditate. And many times in our life we never had time not to practice the Dharma, really, just a little bit. So now we have more time, we're more at home. So let's use this opportunity, let's say, which we didn't want, but anyway has happened. Let's use it to develop our Dharma practice. Then at least something we got out of this pandemic, yeah? Okay, we transform the negative into positive, yeah? So anyway, thank you all very much. See you on Thursday. Thank you very much, yeah?